Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Wednesday, the 9th of October.
The Agenda podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
I've got time blindness, I think.
Yeah,
you can't see what the date is.
You're terrible. You're terrible with even with holidays, returning dates. You've got some sort of retardation when it comes to that.
It is. It's a significant retardation. I will book flights back to front, as you know, anytime I put leave in.
Yeah, so when are you actually landing?
Yeah. Tuesday.
It's like, no, you don't land till Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because you've got,
In my defence, that one was one of those Tuesday +1 situations. That can be a bit confusing, but not to take away from the fact that that is a genuine retardation of mine. I don't know what it is, because I'm not late and I don't miss things when they're happening. It's just looking into the future, I just can't see it.
Yeah, right.
I like to live in the now.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I like to stay present.
Yeah, cool man.
Yeah.
Do ice baths and cool
grounded
as well?
Yeah. I mean, you know, my number one jet lag trick is, you know, you take your shoes off, stand barefoot in the grass, and that'll just reconnect you with the earth.
Grounds you, eh?
It just grounds you.
Yeah.
Either that or get blackout drunk on the first night you land.
Just completely reset the body.
That'll ground you as well. That floors you. You've been on the Grot and Jerry show this week.
The G Lane and Jerry show on Radio Hodaki. Yeah, you're there tomorrow. You're doing Thursday, Friday. Head to Cowell Island.
Reeks off. So I saw the marketing and it was like it's going to be Jerry and friends for the rest of the year, and a chance to, you know, branch out, and Jerry's single and ready to mingle. And then the first week they've just got the two dudes who work down the hallway.
I haven't seen any of the marketing, but now you think of it, like they're like, that's like, you know, it's like fucking your flatmates. It's like I'm single, but these guys are just here.
I want to get back out there.
Yeah,
but she's just down the hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's a bit of a vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on here. So, I'm in tomorrow. What is, you know, because the content game down the content coal mine, it's all about reusing and regurgitating stories. So what's the best thing you guys have talked about this week?
This morning was all about spewing, actually, because we talked about, Mash brought up the fact that he was in a playground on his own, swinging on a swing, which...
Now, hang on.
Right, it raised a few alarm bells. One,
24?
Yeah, and either a sexual predator or someone who's dangerously wasted. And he denied both. And then off air he said, I was dangerously wasted. But he said he got quite motion sickness in the swing after a while, and he had to get off, and he was quite nauseous for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then it just moved into vomiting and sick bags on planes. And I regaled a story of my daughter vomiting on me on the ferry.
Oh, yeah, ferries would
right down my face and front, like a full pelican. And then we moved into pelicans.
Oh, yes.
And then we moved into, does anyone actually use the airline bags? And then one guy texted in and said that his 3-year-old daughter vomited non-stop Auckland, Hawaii, and used every single bag in the plane.
Oh, my God. That's like a 16-hour flight or something, isn't it? 13 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so a bit of vom chat.
I had a flatmate who performed, actually two flatmates, who performed a 2-story pelican. So he vommed out of the second story and pelican the dude who was on the ground.
Pelicaning is so gross.
It is.
That's up there with some of the grossest shit you can do.
And it's very Otago uni, because I remember down there we used to have like keg races. We found this bend in the Leith River. It was essentially an island. And we had a keg race down there. 2 kegs, 2 teams of probably about 20 people on each team. And it was just how quickly can you get the keg down. And it got so competitive that dudes were like, drink, spew, drink, spew, drink, spew, drink, spew.
Bulimic drinking is not good.
Not even enjoying it, just to get it out. And the handy part was the Leith River was right there, so you could
just throw up in there,
perform your ablutions. And there I saw multiple pelicans on that day.
Oh, yeah.
I once performed a Chunder dragon. I've actually twice performed a Chunder dragon, which is where, as you're throwing up, you flap your arms like you're a dragon.
Yeah, okay. And flames, The
Chunder's the flames. Yep. I performed that in the car park at the George Street KFC in Dunedin.
Oh, yeah.
A school bus showed up of a girls' school that was on an exchange with a Dunedin high school. They pulled up to KFC, and here's...
you doing the Chunder dragon?
Yeah. Probably in an Otago uni hoodie. Like, hey, come to Otago. I got so sick a couple of years ago that I threw up in the shower, and it was the first time I'd thrown up sober in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Very different experience.
Yeah, we talked about how the different techniques of throwing up. I'm a massive audible. I scream when I throw up.
Oh.
I'm a yeah. I cannot. Some people I go like real quiet.
That's me.
I'm a full screamer. Like
Right.
I can't hide it. I can't go off and like scurry into the corner and do a vom. I'm full screaming. Like
Everyone knows about it.
Yeah, everyone knows about it.
I'm quite a discreet Chunder. In fact, hungover and then also drunk again while we were in Dunedin. I threw up in the bush on the way into the into the pub there. No,
was that recently?
Yeah, well, we were down there last time we were in Dunedin. Yeah,
For the rugby?
for the rugby. Yep, this was
It's cheeky. You're like a little cheeky little cat goes in the corner.
before. Yeah, I know, but you just don't hear it. I don't make a noise.
Oh, no.
My missus hates. She lives in constant fear of throwing up. She can't she just hates it. I'm fine with it, and I think it's because I'm such a,
Is it?
degenerate piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But yeah, I don't make a noise. I'll go the fingers down the throat to get, because there's nothing worse than that feeling of like you're about to spew.
Yeah, right.
So I'll provoke it every now and
Okay,
then.
you'll go to the gag. Can I just, one question, just get off the voms. Did you forget your clothes today?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Because you're in a promo shirt, and I'm always suspicious when you're in a promo shirt. What's happened? What have you done?
If you're not watching this on YouTube, it's the white ACC shirt, logo on the front, massive logo on the back.
Yeah.
No, I just love the brand, man.
Yeah, I was thinking. I know you love the brand. I know you love the
Yeah.
ACC so much, but it's like,
Nah.
what do you do?
Well, I went to the gym this morning, and I go quite often.
Yeah.
A lot of people noticed that I wasn't there for the last 2 weeks. They were asking me about it. Anyway, had a shower, got out of the shower, and I was like, fuck, I didn't pack a shirt this morning, and by haste to get out the door. So I had my like sweaty ass gym shirt on. I was like, I can't do this. And so Ella raided the promo cupboard for me, found
Yes.
the biggest t-shirt
Yeah.
we got. And
It's good. You look good. Yeah, you're going to go out, do some sampling.
immediately spilled something
Yeah.
on the shirt.
Oh, a little bit of coffee there.
Splashed water all over it. But
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I'll
Okay.
be on the corner of
Nelson and
Richmond.
Cook.
Yep. With your chance to win, I don't know, another t-shirt.
Well, you won't be in the ACC promo vehicle because it's been repainted black. The branding's gone for it.
Yeah.
Did a photo shoot yesterday with it.
I know.
We're ready to sell on Auto Trader. Shit, it looks hot.
It looks beautiful.
It looks so hot.
Oh my God, and the seat in there.
Oh,
So
the black seat's great.
The seat we used to have in there was only attached on the driver's side.
Yes.
So when you went around a corner, the passenger would be sliding back and forth in there, which is, I don't know, it passed all of its warrants.
Oh, the seat's great. And I put my kids across the seat as well.
Yeah.
I see this is probably one of the only times you'll want to be on a bench seat. And I had my daughter
Yeah.
in the middle with the lap belt. And she goes, she was very freaked out about the lap belt.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't quite work that out.
It's like it's going to fold me in half. It's like, yeah, it will, but it's going to stop you from bouncing around the cabin and
Yeah.
hitting us. And that's
the key.
that's all it's doing.
So yeah, that's getting ready for sale. That's going to be November.
Oh,
That's
there's
a big build up.
There's locks on the door now. There were always locks, but you know the little nib that you pull
Yes.
up and push down? That was just a screw with nothing on it.
It's getting better and better by the day.
It's it's a powerful piece of machinery at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the engine has been humming for a good couple of years now, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Because it is an old car.
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah, the photographer popped the bonnet and he goes, woo, straight six.
Yeah.
He fucking loved it.
Yeah, powerful
And
straight
he's
six.
like, why are you selling it? And I was like, that's a good question. Charity, mate. Charity.
It's also, the funniest thing about it is I find, because I drive it quite a bit, it really divides opinion. Chicks generally don't like it.
No.
They're like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Dudes will flag you down and be like, what year is this? Is it a V8? Is it, V6? Oh, straight 6. Yeah, 3.8 lit. Was it the 98, is it? Like, dudes just fucking love it.
Yeah, it's an icon, and hopefully when we sell it, it goes to someone who will love it as much as we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be on Auto Trader. There's a bunch of videos on how to prepare your car for sale on Auto Trader as well. If you jump on the ACC NZ.com, all that stuff. Legends at Auto Trader.
Yeah.
How to flick your car. So
I've got a couple of cars to sell as well, so
there
I'll
you
be
go.
following those. Tips. We filmed Game of Two Halves yesterday.
Oh yes.
To pull you behind the curtain. I can't tell you how it went, who won. What I can tell you by way of a tease is this episode will change the way you look at Toni Street forever.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Was Streety on your team?
Streety was on my team, yeah. She was great as well. She bailed me out a couple of times. I had Toni Street and Angus Ta'avao. I just call him Gus.
Oh, yeah.
Jazz Tavanga was supposed to be on my team this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I know for a fact Joe Jury sent the clip of me through to Sky. I suspect you sent it as well.
I did.
They said they'd received it like 4 times.
As soon as I saw the call sheet of Jazz, I was like, fuck yeah. I said, please make him on the other team. And he goes, no, he's on Manaia's team. I was like, even better. Here, check out the most awkward interview of all time when he asks him if he's in how's rehab going.
I know. But thankfully I was bailed out. Last minute he got called away and he couldn't do it. So Gus came in. He was, I just call him Gus.
Yeah.
He was tremendous.
That's a powerful team. You, Angus Ta'avao, and Streety.
Yes.
That's powerful.
It was formidable.
Yeah.
And then on the other team, they had McConey, Tony Lyle. Conflict of interest. To pull you behind the curtain even more, Tony Lyle writes the show.
Oh, what?
So he generally writes the questions, and he'll write a lot of the scripts that Laura reads.
Did they declare that conflict of interest at the start?
He assures me someone else wrote the questions this week.
Okay, bullshit.
I don't know who that would have been. And then they also had Maddie, and forgive me, her last name escapes me. She was our trampolinist at the Olympics.
Oh, yep.
She came 7th at the Olympics.
I think I met her in the green room.
Yes.
Very small.
Very small, yeah.
Very small.
All those gymnasts ski.
Petite. Very petite.
Well, they need a command of their body in the air, and the bigger you are, I find, the harder that becomes.
Okay, I reckon I mean, you sounds like to me, I don't know the result until Thursday night, 8:30, Sky Open, Sky Sport. You guys be paying what, $1.05?
Yeah.
Yeah, $1.05. I think that's a powerful lineup.
Yes.
Even just physically, quite a powerful lineup.
Well, we were saying, like, if we packed the scrum down against them, we'd obliterate them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got McConey. McConey would hold up one side.
Yeah,
You
it'll be
wouldn't
me
able to
versus McConey.
Yeah.
And then poor Maddie would be up against Angus. And
Streety.
that's only going one way. Yeah.
You'd have Streety and Tony Lyle in the middle,
A
wouldn't you?
good old-fashioned Tony off.
Yeah.
It's a bit of Tony on Tony crime. But what I wanted to do there was at the end, and in the end, the producer said, this is a bit of a spoiler, but I wanted to get Maddie to do a backflip, in the middle where they usually do the charades. She was up for it, but the producers were like, she's in heels, we can't. Like, blah,
That
blah,
would
blah.
have been badass if she'd done it in heels.
I was asking her, like,
Just whip the heels off.
whip the heels off. I think it was just a real OSH issue, occupational safety and health.
It's one of those things because you watch those, I get fed obviously just Instagram reels of people badly injuring themselves.
Yeah.
There's those people trying to attempt a flip and just landing square on the top of their head.
Yeah, but I was saying to her, like,
But she's an Olympic athlete. She'd better.
she would have nailed it.
Yeah.
But I was asking her, like, do you reckon you could train Angus Ta'avao to do a backflip? Like, what is the biggest human being? Because I had a flatmate who at the time was about 140 kilos, and he wanted to train himself to be the largest human being to do a standing backflip.
Oh, yeah.
He never did do it. Too bottom heavy, I think. He couldn't quite get the rotation.
The whip around.
But she said because she lives in Christchurch, she went and trained with the Crusaders boys, and a couple of them could do it. And they were about 100 kilos. So she's like, big boys can do it. I would love to see her train, probably not me, but...
Oh, my God. I'd break my neck.
yeah.
You practice in that foam pit, though, don't you,
Yes,
for a little bit?
Yeah. I said, what's the hardest part? She's like, just committing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The fear of being arse over tit.
Yeah.
Tune in 8:30 on Thursday. Find out if Angus Ta'avao can do a backflip or not.
And Toni Street, you'll never look at her the same.
You will never.
Mother of three.
Mother of three, beloved host of Coast Breakfast, also 7 Sharp. She fills in on breakfast from time to time. You will never be able to look at Toni Street the same after you watch this episode. And just quickly before we take a break, on this day in history, a segment that every podcast radio show does except for us, but I did want to address something today. The 6 o'clock swill ended on this day in 1967. So obviously neither of us old enough to remember it, but it's echoed through the pubs of...
It's basically, that is why we're such good binge drinkers.
Yeah.
That is why, and it stems from the 6 o'clock swill when the pubs closed at 6.
Yeah.
And at 5 to 6, everyone would order 3 jugs each.
Yeah.
And smash those before they got home.
Apparently they had like a 15-minute grace period if you'd already ordered one.
Yeah.
Then you've got enough time to finish it. And in the end, like we keep saying, every time you go overseas, you come back, you're like, fuck, we love a rule here. Well, this was, one of the all-timers.
Well, this rule here, allegedly, it had it there. So so that mainly men
Yep.
would go home and have dinner with their families and stay home with their families, not stay at the boozer all night.
Yeah.
All it did was make guys drink fucking hard for an hour between 5 and 6 and go home wasted.
Yeah, and then turf them out into the neighbourhood, just blind drunk.
Yeah.
And in the end, what overturned it was when tourism started coming in, and all these places were like, we can't serve a beer with dinner to these tourists that are coming through, and they're hating it. It's like, okay, fine, we'll do it. Then all of a sudden, everyone's back at the pub again. Prohibition was so... There's a pub just outside of Oamaru that... I can't remember what it's called, but it was right on the boundary of Oamaru. So it was like... I forget what they call them. There was... I think every town had one of these. And because there was prohibition in the town.
Speakeasy.
Basically a speakeasy.
Yeah.
There's another name for it. Can't remember
We
what it
didn't
is.
we didn't really have prohibition in New Zealand,
No,
did we? It was certain sections.
Yeah, and
of
towns
society.
were just like, look, we can't. And so there you will find like the outskirts of each of these towns. We'll have a pub right there.
Mainly mining towns and stuff like that, wasn't it?
Freezing Works in Oamaru, so yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, on this day in history, 1967, the 6 o'clock swill ended. And God, it feels like we're going back that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm proud to say we're still following that binge drinking tradition.
It's hard to get rid of. All right, let's take a quick ad break. We'll come back and talk some sport. We were talking yesterday about Hoskins Sotutu missing out on the All Blacks selection. He's been thrown, I wouldn't say a lifeline, but I guess he's kind of being strung along a little bit because he's been selected in the All Blacks 15.
Well, I guess you had to. You had to pick him in the 50 if he was available.
Yeah.
And look, if I was Hoskins Sotutu, this is a way to get over to Europe and do a few interviews.
Oh, great idea.
A paid-for trip to Europe. He's going to Ireland and he's playing Georgia, I think. But he's in the neck of the woods. It's just a Eurostar over to Paddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking? Yeah. Do it.
Over to London.
Yeah.
Have a yarn.
Have a couple of cups of coffee.
Yeah. Meet a few people, some old mates.
Yeah. So good on him. He'll go over there and use that opportunity. But I don't know, did you see Ricky Riccatelli didn't make the team? And the excuse from the coach was unlucky. That's all it was. He's just unlucky.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Was it luck of the draw, was it? Was it just a lucky dip of all the hookers and you missed out? I feel for him a little bit because he's one of the...
Hang on. You can't... So hold on. The coach presumably is the selector. Clayton McMillan. Presumably he had a say in who got
He's come out and said he's just unlucky.
No, you don't get... If you're the selector, you don't get to say it's unlucky. You made the decision.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Was it if they said... There were so many good hookers, we put their names in a hat, we drew them out, and unluckily he wasn't picked.
Yeah, we rolled a dice, his face didn't come... I don't know. You can't... I wouldn't be able to stomach that if I was Ricky Riccatelli.
He scored 4 tries in the weekend.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not luck. You made the decision.
Yeah.
You decided. If it was a panel of selectors and Clayton McMillan had nothing to do with it, then I'd accept, you were unlucky. But it's like, no. You did it.
Great name too. He needs to make the All Blacks. I need to call a game where it's got Ricky Riccatelli in.
Is that on his birth certificate?
Well,
because my dad was in the army for about a decade, and obviously in the army everyone's nickname is their last name.
Yeah.
So everyone called him Stu.
Yeah.
And that carried on. Most of my friends know him as Stu. Genuinely, when I was about 30 years old, one of my mates who I've known since I was 4 years old comes to me and goes, "Is your dad's name actually Stu Stewart?" I was like, "No, it's Warren. What do you mean Stu Stewart? Of course it's fucking not." I wonder if we'll find that out about Ricky Riccatelli.
My auntie's name is Linda.
Linda Lane.
She married Murray Lynn.
No.
Yeah, Linda Lynn.
Linda Lynn. Linda Lynn. That sounds like a pop star.
And then Murray Lynn's brother also married a Linda. And there was 2 Linda Lynns on the scene. It's fucking wild.
That is wild. I went to school with a brother and sister whose parents had the same last name before they were married. And yes, they were from Southland. Do your own research. Let's get away from this. Let's take an ad. Oh, no, we just took an ad break. I'm just desperately trying to get out of the incest allegations.
brought it up.
So we talked yesterday about the Kiwi squad being named. The Kangaroos squad's been named for the Australian team as well. Tonga and Samoa have pretty impressive teams also. Chance Nickel-Klokstad yesterday was interviewed and they asked him about Mitch Barnett back in the Aussie team. And he said, yeah, I text Mitch and I said, "Congrats, bro." And Mitch replied, "I'm not your bro." Which is
There's so Mitch Barnett.
yeah.
Because you've obviously got a
Oh my God.
very close relationship with him. Tight.
I don't know if anyone's got a close relationship with Mitch, but I've met him once. We interviewed him, and he's the most intimidating man I've ever been in a room with. You just didn't know if at any moment he was just going to snap and kill you. So, like, he's just, and I know that's his personality. Like, that's what he finds funny.
Yes. Is just being straight and dry.
And I think he's aware of how he looks, like he looks like a intimidating dude.
Yeah.
And so I think he finds that shit funny. But I love that. I'm not your bro. And for the next few weeks, he's not. He's not. Apparently, Jerome Hughes, we were talking yesterday, geez, if he's out, we're in deep, deep trouble. Apparently, he should be sweet to play.
Good.
He's got a bung neck, apparently, but doesn't need surgery.
Oh, okay.
So in a couple of weeks, and then he should be right. This is the injury list at the end of the NRL season for going into the international window. Dylan Brown, he did his ACL. Tamati Martin's got a neck issue. Kieran Foran's 50 years old. Brandon Smith did his ACL, and Jeremy Marshall-King's also got a bung knee. So they're all unavailable, and they would all probably just about start. We play Aussie on October the 27th in Christchurch at Apollo Stadium, and then November 2nd we play Tonga at Go Hard Stadium.
Oh, man, that's going to be loose, that Go Hard Tonga game.
Stay off the motorways. Oh, my God, we should start printing Tongan flags now.
Yeah, we should.
We're going to make... I remember in that World Cup, it brought the city to its knees because they were stopping on the motorway and hopping out and like partying on the motorway. I got stuck behind a van that had built a wooden framework to go on top of it so that it could fit more flags onto it.
I legitimately saw a car with a Tongan flag over the windscreen. Full Ricky Bobby. And they were just looking at a slit at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, that is a cultural thing. If you've ever been to the islands, they will plaster stickers all across the windscreens. They'll have like bobbleheads and shit all across the dashboard. And all they need is just that little...
Just a little slit there to look through.
Just two holes for their eyes to go through. Start printing the flags now. But with all those injuries in the NRL and how grueling the season's been, it gave me an idea, and it is a Wednesday, so I thought now's as good a time as any for a half-baked sports idea.
Half-baked sports idea.
I've actually got two. I'll get to the second one at the end. But I think I've said something similar to this, but it's popped up again at the end of this season. The NRL season's too long. The players are complaining that it's too long. It's too grueling a sport. It's not like basketball where you could play 3 games in a week, Every year when the NRL starts up, it's like, Jesus Christ, they're going to do this for how long? 31 weeks is how long they have to play for. But more than half the year. It's ridiculous. So I reckon we move to an NFL schedule where each team plays every other team once.
Yeah.
17 teams in the comp, so if you play every other team once, that's 16 weeks.
Yeah.
I think 8 weeks into the season, stop down, and we have a 3-week break for Origin.
Yeah.
So you've got obviously Origin, New South Wales versus Queensland.
Yeah.
Then Kiwis, Samoa and Tonga play a tri-series concurrently alongside that.
Yep.
So we play Tonga the first week, we play Samoa the next week, the third week they play each other, and then it's just like a...
We do country of origin, they do state of origin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because what's confusing me is, I guess it's a tier situation, but you cannot play for the Kiwis and play Origin.
No.
But you can play for Samoa or Tonga.
Yes.
And play Origin. That's confusing.
Well, that isn't it something to do with a tier 1 nation?
Yeah.
Right? But you can't tell me Tonga is not knocking on the door of a tier 1 nation.
Well, it is now, yeah. I mean, you look at the squad that they've got.
Yeah.
They're out the gate.
Yeah, so, it's a strange rule.
Yeah, although if they weren't allowed to play, if the Origin players weren't allowed to play for Tonga, and Samoa may weaken them. But anyway, so then you've got a 3-week thing there. If you don't make the rep team, that's 3 weeks of rest, which is just going to make the back end of the season so much better. And you may actually need that 3-week break to be a little later in the season, like it might be 15 weeks in or something like that. But what that would mean is the whole season takes 19 weeks, and that includes a mid-season international window.
Okay, so So are you saying halfway through that 16-week season you have the stop down?
Yeah.
Okay.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Halfway, or it might be 12 weeks in, it might be 15, I don't know, wherever, somewhere in there. And that, in that you have the goal kicking competition, you have the 100-metre sprint, which, by the way, there was all this chat about how they were going to do the 100-metre sprint this year. in the NRL, and they never did. So you put all that stuff in there. The other thing about it, I know they'd be against it because it's less revenue, fewer games, but it makes each game mean so much. In the NFL, the thing that's so dramatic about it is that it's only a 16-game season. So every win and every loss dramatically changes your season. It also means with like 3 weeks left in the season, you can come back.
Yeah.
Whereas in the NRL, with like 6 weeks left in the season, there are teams who cannot make the playoffs anymore. And so they just start benching players and blah, blah, blah.
I like it. You've had some really stupid ideas in the past, how many years you've been doing this halfback sports idea. But it is a really good one. Unfortunately, it is flawed in the fact that they'll never do less games.
I know.
They'll only ever do more.
Because that's 10 fewer games per team, 170 fewer.
That's 100 opportunities for sell advertising on a broadcast, sell tickets to a game.
I know, but it would just mean so much more. I mean, yeah.
Well, I like it though. I like the stop down. I like the stop down where you can play an international window because you're right. Going through that injury list in the NRL, players are just surviving. Yeah. If they can still play with a sore neck and then get it operated on end of season, they'll do it.
Yeah.
And which means that when those internationals come, they're like, what's more important, me being right for next year or playing for the Kiwis? And you'd have to say it's getting right for next season because Kiwis aren't paying your mortgage.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so, I just think the other part is, and I don't think anyone's done it, but I wouldn't be surprised if, say you've got players do get rested for the odd week. You know, like towards the end of the season, the Melbourne Storm will rest players, the Roosters will rest players. But again,
that's the end of the season. They know they're in the top 8, though. They know they're...
That's right. And I think the shortened season would change that. But I don't think we're too far away from, like, Nathan Cleary getting shut down for 6 weeks if they know they're sweet. You know, I don't think that's what's happened this year. Although, look back at the last sort of 2-3 years, he has missed a 6-week stretch and then come back for the last 2 games of the season.
I guess, for well-being of the players as well. The whole CTE issue hasn't seemed to have caused the ruckus in league where it maybe should, but...
They're really papering over it.
Yeah, they are, where it seems to be rugby and NFL seem to be taking quite a lot of the heat on the CTE situation.
Yeah.
League are kind of like,
like, oh, look at this guy. Didn't he do some wacky shit this year? It's like, his brain is mush. Of course he's doing dumb shit. Of course he's hosting a barbecue in lockdown and then hiding under the bed when the cops show up. What do you mean?
Because he's weeing in his own mouth in the urinal.
Of course, he's simulating acts with dogs. But anyway, that's my halfback sports idea. I think it would be so dramatic. Every week would just be this massive. It would genuinely feel when the Warriors play, it would feel like the All Blacks.
And it'd be they're playing for their lives every week.
Every week.
Yeah,
it'd be incredible. And just quickly, a little bonus halfback sports idea: Novemberfest, just like Oktoberfest, except in November. Let's go back.
Not ready yet. Not quite. I've only just come right. I was talking to Jeremy this morning. I'm like, I feel like I'm back.
Yeah.
My sinuses have cleared. I haven't got a cough. I'm not aching. The Bavarian, I think, is clear of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm about a day away. I'm still coughing up a lung.
Both my parents got COVID, though, so I feel like I may have given them the Bavarian.
The COVID Bavarian.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we take a break, you can become the next Snackachangi Sports Scholarship winner if you want to. And by the way, this thing is changing lives by texting CHIP to 3236 to go in the draw to win the ultimate ACC prize pack. But I know what you're thinking. What the fuck is in it? Well, I've made a video explaining all the things that are in it. And there are a few things in there that we couldn't outright say are in it.
But it's obvious.
But it's obvious what they are.
Basically something to wash down all those snackachangis.
That's right. This podcast proudly brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. Let's take a quick break. Come back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Your chance to get involved in the show by pressing the microphone button in the bottom right-hand corner of your iHeartradio app. Even if you don't listen on iHeartradio, just go to the app, hit the wee thing, give us a piece of your mind, just like this caller here. Yours, please.
G'day, Cox. Jake here from Yelling Station, Mid-Canterbury. I'm back. Got to come clean. I grew up in North Otago in a little place called Koorau, where we do claim Richie McCaw as our own. We've got a statue of him that's made of cardboard, trying to raise funds for a real statue. Still hasn't happened. Anyway, well done, Manaia. You beat Mid-Canterbury. You're South Canterbury no-name wounders. So I'll shout you a cold DB next time I see you. fuck South Canterbury, except for Hickey Elliott, who lives pretty close to here.
Good. That's a good little, exception there, because you don't really want to piss off Hickey Elliott.
Nah, he does live somewhere in the Mackenzie country, which is dangerously close to mid Canterbury. So yeah, you really wouldn't want to. I think the quarterfinals are starting in Heartland as well.
This weekend as well?
Yeah.
Everyone's in knockout stage, are they?
I believe so. Yeah. So I believe we've been invited down to go and watch them. Again, it's just so hard to get to Timaru. I've always said this. Like, it is easier for me to get to Apia than it is for me to get home to South Canterbury.
Almost easier to get to Dubai
Yeah.
than Timaru.
It's one flight.
Yeah.
Whereas to get to Timmins, I got to go Auckland, Wellington, 2-hour layover in Wellington. Then, if the flight's not cancelled, Wellington to Timaru. And it's often cancelled. So then you're just in Wellington.
How long's it? Drive's not too far, though. If you go Auckland, Christchurch, jump in a car.
Yeah, drive's about 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's like when I tell Aucklanders, I never tell them I'm from Waimate because they don't know where that is. I tell them I'm from South Canterbury. They're like, oh, Hornby. Like, no, that's South Christchurch.
I can understand the confusion there, because that's for a long, long time. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
And I thought, because in North Canterbury, I thought was just north of Christchurch.
Wood End.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't till, actually, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't till my recent holiday down there that I realised how big Canterbury region is.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've got mid Canterbury, mid Canterbury, North Canterbury, South Canterbury, and we spent our whole time in South Canterbury.
Yeah.
And we were driving 2 hours at a time.
Yes.
2-3 hours at a time. We still hadn't left South Canterbury.
Yeah, and you don't see a person for an hour.
No.
Yeah, it is. Well, yesterday we were superimposing the New Zealand map. We found this website where you can drag it over other places, because we always feel like we're this tiny little country. I come off the back of the old Megamind down there in Maricopa, there was a sighting of him, and the top comment was like, New Zealand's a small country, how come we can't find him? But no, we're not. We have a small population.
Yeah.
But the South Island is the size of the entire UK. We are bigger than Japan,
Yep.
land-wise. We are the length of the eastern seaboard of the United States.
Shit.
Yeah. So it is. We are not a small country.
Just not a lot of us.
And Canterbury is, like, the wider Canterbury is half of the South Island. It's basically the entirety of Scotland, plus more.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a big bastard of it, and like that drive from Christchurch to Timaru.
Oh, geez, that is just straight and boring.
Yeah, I reckon there's a lot of crashes on the one corner that there is.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh shit. I reckon the majority of the speeding that happens in this country happens on mid-Canterbury roads because they are all dead straight.
Yes.
And so it's just like, oh, well, let's see how fast the Kia Sportage can go. See if we can get this thing off the clock.
Sportage.
Hey,
Is that the car of choice?
No, that was the car that we drove around Oman. It was just the first one that came to me. No. Most of the farmers down there will have either a Maloo, you know, those V8 Holden Utes, the bright green ones, or they'll have an old Kingswood or something in the garage. And when they get the opportunity, they will open the taps on that bastard somewhere around mid-Canterbury. But anyway, go well, mid-Canterbury. I presume they're not in the quarterfinals, mid-Canterbury. Terrible part of the country. Can't imagine they produce any good rugby players. So, and good to hear that guy made it out of Koorau and all the way to Ealing Station. So shout out to Jake. Let's knock this thing on the head for today. Tomorrow, Matt Heath has agreed to come back onto the podcast. We haven't lost him forever.
No, and he will use this as an outlet.
Yes.
Because I can tell that he's chomping at the bit on ZB.
Yeah.
And he even rang me this morning, and he rattled off some horrific comments. And I said, are you ringing me just to get these off your chest so you don't say it on air? And he goes, yo, fuck yeah. That's the only reason I'm ringing you. It's like if I can say it to you, then I feel like I've said it.
Oh, well, he can say it on the podcast
Absolutely.
tomorrow. And that's his one outlet. All right, we'll knock this thing on the head. We'll see you tomorrow with Matt Heath for a Thursday episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.